Hey, Bruce Naylor here. Welcome to Coffee Break. Thanks so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up if you like this video. And I always appreciate your comments down below. Let me get a sip of this good coffee. I think this video is going to be a fun one. And it's all about a recent article that I read. And it's on CNN. And it's written by, and I'm going to be reading off of this iPad, a lot of stuff on here. But it's written by Jamal Polson. And I have a link to that article down below. And the article was music really better when you were younger? Or is your mind deceiving you? Whoa. Boy, if there's one thing I hear all the time, especially when it comes to talking about music, is that modern music sucks. Why is it so bad? Why does it sound like noise? I hate it, blah, blah, blah. Well, this article intends to explain that. So I'm going to give you Jamal's hypothesis and also some information provided by psychologists as well. So let's get started. So the hypothesis is this. Number one, it appears people the same generation essentially declare their music is the best. And I cannot argue with that. I cannot debate that or dispute that, because if I asked people of my generation what the best period for music was, the best music, inevitably, it almost always goes back to the music produced in the 60s, 70s, and even early 80s. But then the newer stuff, not so much. And then you get those kind of comments where people say, nah, it's this noise, I don't care for it, doesn't appeal to me, etc. Every other generation's music is not as good as the music we listen to in our generation. Well, why is that? And that leads us that the music that connects to us, that we remember, that we enjoy, happens during a very important developmental period in our lives, somewhere, say, around about age 14, 15, and then ends at approximately age 23. And during that period of time, that's when we, I think, experience very strong emotions. A lot of stuff is new to us. We're doing a lot of potentially life-changing things, and we connect with music on a very, very deep and emotional level at that age. Obviously, not everybody can be right about their generation's music being the best. So a Dr. Rita Aiello, who is a music psychologist at New York University, says that it's strong emotions that the music provides, not maybe so much the music itself. She also states that music is a powerful cue for remembering what has happened in our lives. And I definitely can relate to that. I know certainly in my life, there's certain songs that trigger very powerful emotions and memories, especially of things that I was doing, the friends, the good times, the parties, the breakups, all the trauma you go through as a teen and into your early 20s, right? And so when I hear particular songs, I'll give you an example. The other day, my wife and I was heading back from having a day out on just shopping and having a nice time. And so we were playing some tunes on the way back, because she's very much a tunes person. And You're in My Soul came on, and Rod Stewart. And it just brought a powerful wave of emotions for both of us. Now, I don't know what emotional connection my wife has with that song, but for me, it would put me in mind of like one of my first girlfriends or something. But it really evoked the feeling of love that I had for my wife. It evoked that very strong emotion. I possibly don't even remember first time I heard that song or what I was doing, but it sure did drive that powerful emotion. Now, another doctor, Robert, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name, Cutietta, Cutetta, something like that. A professor of music at the University of Southern California says music is episodic. So memory, according to this doctor, and how it works, that we have what's called episodic memory. And episodic memory is if I understand this correctly, is the type of that emotional connection that we talked about earlier that gets stored away in the memory. So whenever, and links it maybe to a particular event, and that's kind of stored away in our mind. And music and stuff that we didn't connect with is tossed out. So there's a lot of research apparently on this whole connection, this being the episodic connection with the music that you find that you love, all right? Does not mean that new music is bad. It's simply you're no longer experiencing maybe those intense emotions, those new activities, those times when you were developing as a person, say between, again, around age 14 to 23. It's a lot different today. We're not as in tune with this sort of thing. We've been there, done that. We toss out stuff that is not relevant to us anymore. We've already done or experienced. But the music, now that's different because it connects us with us on an emotional level and potentially even triggered by a certain event that happened in our life. And so music, the emotions that we have are tied to the music at an impressionable age. So you have that. You know, and another opinion was that sometime you enjoyed music from an earlier, tougher period in your life that can bring a sense of catharsis when you listen to it today. And yeah, I know that there's this much. If there's times I'm personally feeling depressed, right? I'll put on some music that just makes me happy to hear it. You know, Dire Straits. I'll put on some Dire Straits, some ZZ Top, and that'll get the old toes tapping. And suddenly I just feel like my mood is lifting and improving. And again, this is because of that emotional connection, that episodic memory that these psychiatrists and psychologists rather are talking about in this article. There are certain circumstances that made certain songs particularly meaningful to you, and the memories of those circumstances will come back to you as you listen to the songs that Dr. Aiello said. So there you have it. It's potentially not that the music is better or worse, although if you ask me, the classic rock of the 60s and 70s and early 80s is still the best, but that's up to the debate, right? But I can tell you, it's more of a personal thing that happens to us during our earlier developmental years and the emotional things that we connect with music, and it stays with us for the rest of our lives. And we tend to have matured and no longer make those strong connections with the new music. And yeah, some of it probably is just terrible, but there was terrible music back in my generation and the generation before that. There always have been terrible music, but there's also always been great music. So what I am suggesting in this video is perhaps maybe we should try to keep an open mind and not be so critical of the artists that are releasing new music for us today. And that's it. That is this week's episode of Coffee Break. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.